Soul of a Champion is one of the most intriguing wrestling games I've ever played. Human Entertainment produced this game right when All Japan Pro Wrestling was struggling with direction. Two kings that ruled their worlds. Two kingdoms before collapse. A final love letter. Fire Pro Wrestling is finally reborn in 3D. The gameplay actually simulates the King's Road style of wrestling, and yet, the game doesn't quite hit the mark. A great concept with less than ideal execution. So without further ado, let's take a look. There will be spoilers. After World War II, Pro-Wres became a cultural anchor of Japan, as Rikidozan and the JWA regularly drew millions of fans on TV. But in 1963, Rikidozan died after a stabbing. Years of internal politics later caused the JWA to fracture. In the early 70s, Antonio Inoki left to form New Japan Pro Wrestling. Giant Baba left to form All Japan Pro Wrestling in 1972, and the fracture remains to this day. Baba for a time pushed himself as his top guy, as most promoters do. Outside the ring, he also had business and booking savvy. He brought in foreign superstars like the Funks, Stan Hansen, and so on. All Japan had partnerships with the NWA and AWA. While his philosophy tended to be very conservative, Baba also paid attention when the times had changed. When it was time, Baba stepped aside for Jumbo Tsuruta to be the ace in the 1980s. But perhaps the best example of this adaptability was in 1990. Rising star Mitsuharu Misawa was so over that Baba had him beat Jumbo clean. The ensuing feud put a new generation of stars on the map. They walked the King's Road, a philosophy of escalation, weight, and consequences. Who wins? Who loses? What does it cost? Under Giant Baba's steady guidance, All Japan Pro Wrestling may have been the best wrestling promotion in the world. But nothing lasts forever. By January 1999, Giant Baba is in the hospital dying of colon cancer. He would pass away from liver failure on January 31st, and this shook the company to the core. Misawa became the new president. Baba's widow, Motoko, became the new owner, and the two of them didn't get along. Even with a solid roster still putting on great matches, the leadership of the company are not on the same page. Morale is low. There's trouble ahead on the King's Road. Enter Human Entertainment. In the 2D era, Human were one of the biggest innovators of the wrestling game genre. But Human didn't exactly impress people with their 3D debut. Fire Pro Wrestling Iron Slam 96 was a disaster. In the midst of their own struggles, Human signed on to make a Fire Pro game for All Japan. So, Human Entertainment released Zen Nippon Pro-Wres Ouja no Tamashii on April 8, 1999. In English we call it Soul of a Champion or King Soul or other names, but enough talk about labels. It's time to play the game. The core of Soul of a Champion is built on Fire Pro Wrestling. Fire Pro is built around simulating the feel of real matches. The mechanics pace matches so they develop and escalate. But Iron Slam 96 had demonstrated that Fire Pro couldn't directly translate to 3D. So for this project, Human instead applied its principles to make something new. Let's get started. As always, you're trying to beat the other guy. You lock up by holding R1 and a face button. Time a button press when you shift your weight to do a move. But you don't just start with the high spots. Strikes, submissions, and weaker moves build to that. Escalation is the name of the game. It's deliberate. It's psychology. It's the style of All Japan put faithfully into a game. And there's a unique mechanic that helps the game feel like the real deal. In each match, wrestlers have a number of these things called power balls. These can be used to do a variety of different things, like breaking submission holds or kicking out of big moves. They're also used to do your finishers. You don't get to just spam them in this game. Finishers are precious. If a weaker finisher didn't end it, hit him with something stronger. The philosophy of the game echoes the philosophy of All Japan, but the execution is something of a mixed bag. On one hand, the concept is rock solid. The gameplay is deliberate. The CPU logic makes wrestlers wrestle like they do in real life. The roster is a decent recreation of All Japan. You have top guys like the Four Pillars, Stan Hansen and Vader, and others like Fuchi, Albright, or Johnny Ace. You can also create knockoffs of wrestlers in the edit mode. There's things to love here. On the other hand, the things that help this game feel like All Japan also make the game feel clunky. It can be slow, awkward, and unintuitive. It might not be as clunky as something like the Acclaim games, but it's something that takes getting used to. But mainly, I'd say Soul of a Champion has two big problems that run it into the ground. Over the course of a match, you'll eventually get winded. You'll be stuck gasping for air and basically stun-locked. This will be either from you doing moves or from taking them. Either way, it's inevitable. That's realistic and grounded, and it feels like the King's Road style. I don't feel like it's anything but kind of arbitrary. The game doesn't really communicate your condition or what you can do. I can't read Japanese, maybe the manual explains it. Is it tied to how much you do? How many moves you take? Can you catch your breath by standing still? Later games communicate this more directly with a dedicated button to regain your stamina. But this is a cool idea not implemented all that clearly, or maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know. I'm moving on. The other big problem is the tag team match. Soul of a Champion really collapses here. The frame rate tanks. As a result, the timing of your moves changes. The match slows down. And the most frustrating thing for me is that you can't control your partner at all. As far as this game communicates, getting my partner to help me is random chance. I'm saddled with a brain-dead CPU. I think it saved me successfully once, but I really can't remember when. Maybe I'm missing something because of the language barrier. Maybe I suck at this, I don't know. But this is the most frustrating tag match I can remember in ages. Given how big tag teams and tag tournaments were in All Japan, this is a problem. In a way, by trying to recreate All Japan, they end up failing to recreate it. It's a shame. There's a few other things like multi-man matches or tournaments, but those are pretty self-explanatory. Tournaments let you do all your favorite events like the Champion Carnival. Besides the standard one-on-one, the highlight is title matches. Even if it's just window dressing, it'll never not be cool to wrestle for the Triple Crown. But after that, there's not much else to say. The best word I could use to describe this game is limited. It's an enjoyable enough game when played in a straightforward one-on-one match. It has an authentic all-Japan atmosphere and tons of little details for fans to obsess over. If the game stopped here, it nailed King's Road singles matches and laid a great foundation. But of course, a 1999 game can't just have singles matches. Human in over its head trying to chase trends. History repeats. As for where this system is going to go next, that's a story for another time. With that, I've said enough about the gameplay, so let's move on. In MVP Season mode, well, it's what it sounds like. Take a wrestler through a year or more of All Japan events, participating in tournaments like the Champion Carnival, and trying to win championships. Sometimes you'll fight created wrestlers which are unlicensed versions of real wrestlers. Later in the mode, you'll even face off against the ace of the 70s and 80s, Jumbo Tsuruta. And if you can beat him, you'll unlock him. You don't have to win every single match, but you will get a game over for big losses. I can't read Japanese, but I can feel the quiet disappointment here. I'm sorry, Baba-san. Between matches, you can train your stats, check the calendar, or save and quit. It's exactly what a season mode sounds like. It's a really cool concept, but I think the roster makes this feel uneven. Basically, you pick a main eventer, or you pick one of the lower card guys. Among the top stars are Misawa, Kobashi, Kawada, and Taue, the Four Pillars. Foreign superstars like Vader and Stan Hansen are also here. I'm a Stan Hansen guy, so yeah. This was the shorter season, and the experience felt fairly enjoyable. I got to play through a mixture of singles and tag matches, throwing lariats and winning gold. While the tag matches still sucked, I overall had fun. But you only get half the stuff if you beat it with a main eventer. So what about the other guys? The second group features miscellaneous lower card or tag guys like Gary Albright, Johnny Ace, Johnny Smith, etc. Throughout this run, things are way more varied and involved. And honestly, it's not a good thing. As established before, Soul of a Champion breaks down once we start doing multi-man matches. Throughout the B Group season, you'll wrestle in singles, tag team, and even battle royal matches. With All Japan's prominent focus on tag teams, Hope you like jank. You're saddled with an inconsistent stamina mechanic, bad frame rate, and a brain-dead AI that wouldn't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch. The game often turns into a crapshoot from all this. What a mess. It's worth noting the roster reflects real life, though. All Japan leaned very top-heavy, and the company never had a particularly large roster. But that just makes it a realistic disappointment instead of an unrealistic one. Given that all you're really getting out of the B-Team run is a second set of parts for edit mode, I frankly think that playing it's a waste of time. I mean, it's cool as flavor text or window dressing, but as a commitment, it's unreasonable. Since I haven't actually talked about the edit mode, let's see where that fits into this mess. There is, in fact, an edit mode now. That's better than Iron Slam 96, but there's not a lot of depth to this. You can't actually edit the wrestlers here in edit mode. As for creating a wrestler, you really just pick one of several pre-made models. Change the size, put in your name, pick a moveset and CPU logic, and that's about it. You know, WWF Warzone was deeper than this. In WWF Attitude, you can even fully customize your moveset. It's really surprising to see how lacking this is. Besides making unlicensed wrestlers with the unlockable parts, this is useless. They don't even have movesets for every wrestler you can make. Why give me edit parts if you won't let me properly make these guys? How did Acclaim do better than this? What a disappointment. And that's the best way to describe the season and the edit mode. A disappointment. The authentic All Japan vibe writes a fat check, tag matches show how unstable the game is, and these modes are the moment the check bounces. Not even terrible, just not there yet. What a shame. All Japan Pro Wrestling Soul of a Champion is a mixed bag. Human learned a lot from their mistakes on Iron Slam 96, and it's clear they were huge fans of the source material. The presentation and content are full of reverence for All Japan. The passion is there, the idea is there, the execution is not. The gameplay is at best conceptually solid, but functionally inconsistent. Once we get involved in multi-man matches, it turns into a total disaster. In practice, we have a decent one-on-one All-Japan style game with other modes awkwardly bolted on. The real moral of the story might be that when they're not setting the trends, Human struggles. Soul of a Champion provides a flawed experience that almost touches greatness, and that's why it hurts. Human. All too human. But I will say this much about it. A lot of licensed games feel like a product. Soul of a Champion feels like a whisper between lovers that we got to hear. It's imperfect, but it's sincere. And so, All Japan and Human face trouble on the horizon. Without Giant Baba's steady hand, there will be infighting and troubling times ahead. As for Human, the end is near. Human released Fire Pro Wrestling G later in 1999, then they went bankrupt. In the aftermath, Spike would inherit Fire Pro Wrestling. One of their projects was a spiritual successor to this, called King of Colosseum on PS2. As for this game, by the time it came out, the world it recreated was already dead and gone. All things must pass.